Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Kayak Bass Live on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, it's been a while. Looks like quite a few people have missed us, and we appreciate it. I know I do, and it's been a long time coming. But let me go ahead and maybe explain. If you weren't aware, I switched employers. I used to work for Dick's Sporting Goods, and I decided to switch employers and move to Fisherman's Warehouse in Manteca, California, a tackle retailer here in Northern California, one of the oldest and longest-standing tackle shops here in NorCal. And I took the position and got way more hours than I had anticipated. So it kind of cut into my ability to do Kayak Bass Live. So I have asked them, to actually cut my hours so that way I can do this again. So with everything, as long as everything goes well, we are back up and running. We should be back every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as long as I can see. But that's my plan. I apologize, you guys on the East Coast. But 7 p.m. seems to work the best for me and for what I'm trying to do. So I apologize if you have to watch this later. But anyways, I'm excited to be back. This is it's more an informal kind of thing tonight because I don't know. I'm trying to do something a little different. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Another thing. I'm not going to do a giveaway this evening, largely because I had got so far behind on sending them out, so all the other giveaways, and so I'm no giveaway tonight. But I would appreciate if you do share. It does help spread the love and helps us grow. So if you would, go ahead and give us a share, like, comment, talk. We already got a peanut gallery going here already, which is fantastic. So I apologize. If you have won a giveaway in the past, please message me. And I'm going to try to get them. I may not get them all out right away because shipping a lot of things, it's not cheap. So if you could, send me a message, and I'm going to try to get them out to you as soon as possible. And if I have to mail them from work and then pay for them at work, then I will do that. Because we do ship from the store, which is awesome. So come down to Fisherman's Warehouse. Come see me. If we don't sell in our store, it probably doesn't work. Okay, I take it back. There's a lot of things we sell that don't work, but the stuff we do sell is good stuff. They've been open for 35 years. The people there know what they're doing, and I'm glad to be part of the team over there. If you are somewhere outside of California, we do have a website, fisherswarehouse.com. Go over there and check it out. Everything that is online is based on the inventory out of our Manteca store. We do have 3 stores. We have one in Manteca, Sacramento, and in San Jose. So get over there and come check us out. Come say hi. Tell them Kayak Bass Live sent you. And it lets them know that their decision to let me have Tuesday nights off is beneficial to them, because now we're going to get more people in the store to come say what's up. Can I think of anything else? Like I said, it's going to be kind of an informal night. I don't have a script, or not a script, but an outline. So I'm pretty much winging it. With that, I'm going to play one more commercial for Enigma, and then we're going to bring Matthew Brannon on, the kayak bass fishing monster of Northern California. I believe that's what I called him, or the Machine. I called him Machine. Either way, he's a badass. Don't get too big of a head, Matthew. I know you can hear me. Well, here we are back with the Machine, Mr. Matthew Brannon. Can we call you that? Switch you from Ring King to Matthew the Machine Brannon? Yeah, if you notice up in your upper right hand corner of Matthew's box, for some reason Matthew was having trouble getting Skype to cooperate. So I called an audible and pulled up FaceTime, and so here we are. And that's why you see me double. It looks kind of weird. Actually, I see myself 3 times, so I better change this real quick. It's gonna drive me bonkers. There we go. Now I see myself twice. So thank you for tuning in. Like I said, it's pretty informal. We've had Matthew Brannon on before in the past because he just wins tournaments, man. He is a machine out here in California. He kicks our rears up and down the coast. So, with that, man, how's it going, Mr. Matthew Brannon? Yeah, a lot of people are attributing that to possibly the spraying of and everything of the overgrowth of vegetation and everything. Would you say that may be a key factor? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't let me see. My bad. I see what happened. Capture. Let me see. For whatever reason, Matthew's window did not. Here, let me switch it. Matthew's window didn't happen to capture the audio, which is strange. Let me see. I may just have to go straight up old-fashioned. Oh, look at him twice. Looking that kind of weird. Oh, shoot. I see what happened. Sorry, guys. It wouldn't be Kayak Bass Live if there wasn't an issue, I guess, right? Let's see. Yeah, you guys can see. You guys can see what I'm doing. I forget over here on the left-hand side. All right, put me over here. That's not what I wanted. All right, give that a go, Mike. Can you talk, Matt? Nope, it didn't capture. That's right. I'll just go this way. It'll capture it now. All right, try it now. Wow, that's weird. That's really weird. All right, guys, give me a minute. I apologize. I don't know what happened. I had it just a minute ago. kayaking business looks like. Go. You there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, we're good. Woo! Don't do that to me. Oh man, dude, I swear. If it's not one thing, it's another, man. I'm about ready to take this machine and throw it out the window, and get me go back to a PC. I don't know what the deal is, man. So, yeah, Nobody messaged me, said anything. I just had to notice in the peanut gallery. So, attributing the decline in Clear Lake to the spraying and the controlling of the weeds and everything.
Yeah, so like I said, the bite at Clear Lake, I would say, definitely has to do something with the spraying of the weeds. Summertime temperatures raise the water temps up, which decreases the amount of dissolved oxygen that the water can hold. That in itself makes it a struggle for the fish. The spraying of the grass itself, I don't think is the problem, but once that grass dies and starts to decay, it soaks up a lot of the oxygen in the water and further reduces the amount of dissolved oxygen, which is what causes our fish kills. So that I don't think helped at all. During the fish kills themselves, that's when we had our Yakka bass and KBF trail events up there, and it wasn't an issue. We still caught plenty of fish. But something has happened in the last, I guess, about 3 weeks that the bite has just shut down. I mean, it's all we can do to catch fish up there, as everyone saw with the FLW tour and the low weights that those guys brought in. It was definitely a grind. But something else is going on as well, because it doesn't seem to matter which body of water we're on. The fishing is pretty poor across the board in Northern California right now.
It's the fall transition is what a lot of guys are saying. It's just tough.
Yeah.
And I imagine, if you guys aren't aware, Matthew Brannon is actually right damn near in the middle of all the wildfires right now.
Yeah.
They're going damn near all around him. And you guys had to evacuate just not too long ago, right?
They had some evacuations. I'm only 8 miles from Santa Rosa, which is where the primary fires are. And the other night, the wind was actually blowing west, which was bringing it right to us. So I guess it was Monday morning when I got up to go to work at 6:30. We didn't even know what was going on. The Coast Guard, I'm in the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard alert system had sent out messages, and I got those messages, and that's what let us know something was going on. So we checked news. And, of course, as soon as it said fire, we walked outside. The skies were black. There's ash over everything. So I just grabbed Amanda. We threw our vital records and all that stuff in the truck, along with our hard drives and computers and cameras, and we just hauled tail. We went to the base where I work, which is further south of us, and just kind of hung out there for the day since I had to work anyway. I did have Amanda stay with me last night, and then because she's an insurance agent, she went straight to work this morning and started dealing with trying to help people who have had losses. But it's burning close. I mean, everything's smoked up. You can smell it. You can see it. It's been a major loss for a lot of people. Yep. Yep. Yes. Some of our NorCal kayak angler brothers from around the area, all over California, but some of them reported some other fires that were causing some serious problems, and I saw a few family members that had lost homes and stuff that were reported on NorCalKayakAnglers.com. So it's widespread right now, and all the dry weather and low humidity and these high winds we've got, it just doesn't help.
No, man. We would have thought that the rain would have helped, but
I mean, even Clear Lake,
it gets all wet, and then in the summer it just dries up dry.
Yep. There's 2 fires at Clear Lake that are burning right now. There's 2 fires that have now joined at Lake Mendocino, just north of us. That one's at like 27,000 acres, I think is what it was up to. So it's all around, and it's got to be careful right now if you're traveling.
Yeah, it's funny. All the people from not from here, they're all worried about they get worried about earthquakes, and we're like, dude, it's not even the earthquakes you got to worry about. It's the damn wildfires.
Well, we had 2 earthquakes too, one in San Jose and one in Roanoke Park.
Oh, that's right. We did have, yeah.
So in the middle of the fires, we're having earthquakes.
Wow. I don't know, man. Let me see if I can slow this down a little bit. Looks like it's starting to get a little... My video's getting a little choppy. There. Boom. Hopefully that helped. So, Mr. Matthew Brannon has now won, 4 of our 7 events this year?
Yeah, for Yakabas, for the local club.
4 of our 7 events. You can double down and call Clear Lake 2 wins, even though it's, there are 2 different events going on simultaneously. So you won Paradise, Big Break. Did you get? No, you didn't get Big Break. You didn't fish Big Break. So
I didn't fish SoCal.
Yeah. So we've got Paradise.
I took 10th at Comanche. I think it was 10th, which was our first stop of the year. And then I won Paradise. I missed Big Break. And then what was it? Turner.
Yeah, Turner.
And then Clear Lake. And then our last one, which was Paradise was the other one.
Yeah.
Paradise, Turner Cut.
Oh yeah, Tracy got switched to Turner, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, Turner. You took. You won that one. You won.
Tower Park.
Man, Tower. You won Tower. God.
Yep.
All right, so.
Got one more to go.
Yeah, totally doable too. So, got a kind of a question. I've been talking to a couple people. I mean, your ears probably burning and ringing and itching. So you keep kicking our asses, and this last one wasn't by the biggest margin, but you still did pretty well. At least I think the other 2 or 3 you had quite the jump between the 2. But anyways, what would you, without sounding braggy, because man, to kick your ass, you sound like bragging. What do you attribute it to? What do you think it is?
Honestly, it's I haven't pre-fished. I don't think I pre-fished for any of our tournaments this year.
So that's more salt in the wound.
But that's not saying that I didn't know the waters. The waters that we fish. I mean, they're waters that we fished in the past at other events. It's waters that I fish regularly. I mean, Clear Lake. I spend most of my time on Clear Lake. Several of our events have had pretty crazy weather conditions that came upon us the day before our tournament. So the guys that did pre-fish and were on a good pattern got their tournament morning, and it's a completely different bite. And I think it's just a matter of just adapting to those changes. The last tournament, Tower Park, I saw Greg Blanchard had a video where he did good at his pre-fishing for Tower Park. I heard a lot of people fish that week right before Tower Park and did really well on numbers and a few good fish. But the night before the tournament, we had that massive cold snap. The day of the tournament, we had 20-mile-an-hour winds almost, somewhere around 20-mile-an-hour winds. We had a massive outgoing tide with a lot of current. So, in that situation, I want to say a lot of people were on frog bite or a shallow water bite. Well, I went deep. I fished outside grass lines in 7 to 10 feet of water because those fish are going to be more able to stay active even with a cold snap. They're deeper, so they're not as effective as with the colder air temperatures. So, and then, of course, having a pedal drive. I mean, you hate to beat that horse, but having a pedal drive in a high wind situation with current is a major advantage. I'm able to sit out there in the current and fish.
Stupid dog. We got new neighbors. They bought the house next door, and they've got a dog. And yeah.
This year, one of my primary baits has been the Picasso shock blade, and I fish it slow and I fish it deep. So, I'm able to stay on fish even with the conditions that change.
Were you throwing it? Okay, so were you throwing like a 3/4? Were you throwing it just heavier, or were you just throwing it just slower and deeper?
I throw it 3/8 most of the time. If I was fishing deeper than say 10, 12 feet, I'd probably go to a 1/2 ounce, but 3/8 is my primary. for the chatterbait, or not chatterbait style baits, the shock blade.
Okay, so I'm going to break this down. You cast it out there along the outside edge of the weed line.
Yeah, that 100%. I was lined up fishing parallel, 7 to 10 feet of water, let it sink all the way to the bottom, and rolling it back low on the bottom.
Just enough to get the blade to move.
And you had to be hitting the grass. I mean, that was another thing. I wasn't fishing on the complete outside edge where I was on a clean bottom. I was still running it through the edge of all the grass out there, and I was having to rip it free. And, a lot of the bites came after I ripped it free and was letting it sink back down to the bottom.
Okay.
Which is a pretty typical way to fish them.
Okay, so I personally have to find the right rod to throw depending on the amount of grass in there. If I don't throw, if it's too much grass, I have to go to a stiffer rod kind of thing. And a lot of that grass has been dying off. Were you dragging it through a lot of grass, or was it kind of sparse?
I was dragging it through a fairly good bit of grass.
Okay, so with that, what kind of rod were you using then?
I had two. I was throwing a Dobbins 705 CB, which is their crankbait rod. I like that feel, and I was throwing my Guru. I think he calls it a chatterbait rod. His reaction rod is what it was originally started out as, which is a glass rod. And I throw it on 20-pound vicious fluorocarbon. So I don't have to stretch. It helps me a little bit. I know Bam, because he designed that rod, he likes on the Delta to fish it on braid so that you can really rip it through that grass. But because I switch waters so much and I don't primarily fish the Delta, I do fish Lake Sonoma and Mendocino and some other waters where it's a little clearer. So I throw fluoro. That 20-pound vicious fluoro, I think it's enough that I still can rip it through that grass pretty good.
Yeah, that heavier line is a little stiffer than using like a 12 or 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Had to ask. All right. So if should we do a little? I'm gonna grab my little notes here. Should we do a little more time traveling? Let's go back. So let's go back. Your first win, which was at Paradise, wasn't it? The first one was at Paradise.
Paradise.
Right. Okay. And what was going on down there?
We had the KBF trail event on the Delta, and during that event, Amanda and I launched at Paradise and went up. I fished a stretch of bank that I absolutely love. I fished it for the last couple of years. It's always got a few good fish on it. During our Yakka Bass event for Paradise, I launched. James Snyder went with me. We fished all day. And I went straight to that bank. I mean, I threw a whopper plopper on the way up there. I don't think I did hardly anything with a whopper plopper. I tried to go down, do a little bit smaller bait. I went back to a popper, Yellow Magic popper, trying to finesse a bite because the whopper plopper wasn't getting me anything. But I was really counting on that one stretch of bank. And once James and I got up there, it was the same thing. I took that 3/8 ounce Picasso shock blade. I was paralleling the bank. I was actually up against the rocks on that one, fishing the bottom edge of the rocks where they meet the grass, and slow rolling that shock blade down the bottom. Pausing it every once in a while when you came through some grass, pop it free and then let it sink at the bottom. And I caught a fair number of fish in that tournament. I mean, I don't remember numbers, but I caught a fair amount of fish in that tournament. And I told James as we were working back towards the launch, I said, I've got to get a kicker. I said, if I don't get a big fish, I'm not going to win this one. And it wasn't too long after I said that I stuck one. It was either 6 or 7 pounds right there on that shock blade. If I caught 20 fish, probably 17 of them were on that shock blade, and the other ones were on a frog. I did get a few fish on that transporter frog.
I was going to ask. Green pumpkin. Yeah?
That was green pumpkin, amber, red.
Green pumpkin. And then what do you use as a trailer?
It depends. That event, I was throwing a Strike King blade minnow in green pumpkin.
Blade minnow.
Yep, it's just a straight minnow imitation. It looks like a fluke, but it's jointed.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a tail on it, though. It's not just like two little fin tails.
No, it's a straight tail. If you drag it through the water on a regular old plain jig head, it has no movement whatsoever. But because it's got some joints built into it, it really comes alive on the back of a shock blade.
I thought I might have one. That's what I was trying to. But no, what I've got is a caffeine shad. That's not what. Anyway, so is that your go? Is that your one of your? What are your go-to for the bladed jig?
For the trailers?
Yeah, what are your go-to trailers?
If I'm doing something like a bluegill, then I like that the blade minnow. Another one I like for bluegill imitating is the Strike King Rage Menace. Works great.
And you're doing it horizontal, not vertical, huh?
I do it horizontal. Yeah, that's an odd statement.
I would think you would do it vertically, as this way rather than
If you try it though, if you put the trailer on there vertically, the top leg doesn't move, so you only get action from the bottom leg.
No, I never noticed that.
I guess it must be because of the way the water comes off the blade that it does not allow that top leg to move on the Rage Menace.
Huh.
So, yeah, I like it fine.
That's a money little tip right there. You better write that down.
I also throw a lot of the Gary Yamamoto 5-inch double tail grill. That's another one of my favorites to put on there.
As a bluegill?
More for crawl.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm throwing black and blue, or if I'm throwing the Delta crawl type color, the reds, I'll go to the double tail, Yamamoto double tail.
So those are the three, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the only ones I throw on.
Gotta ask. Anyways, have you tried the Zacho?
Yep. I've got a couple packs in the garage.
Just didn't do it for you?
Didn't do it for me. The plastic, it's such a tall body. When it's on the hook, it kind of fills up the hook gap, and it's not my preferred.
And you tried the Swim Cinco like Mr. Blanchard has?
I have thrown the Swim Cinco on a regular weighted swim bait hook, but not on the chatter style baits or vibrating jigs.
Yeah, only problem I had with the Swim Cinco on there is it just feels like it sticks too far out there. I want more of the bait to be compact, so when they go for it, they're going for the bulk of the bait. In this case, I don't want generally eat a bait fish from the head first, anyways. But it's still kind of a mental block, I guess. This kind of its confidence is 90% of the game, anyways, right?
Definitely.
Right. Okay. So from there, from Paradise went to Big Break, which you missed.
Yep.
And then from Big Break, we went to Clear Lake.
Yeah, I believe Turner.
4, 5, 6.
I think we went to Turner Cut after that.
We did. Where is Turner? Somehow, I copied and pasted this from Yakabas, so I don't know what happened here. Turner.
Tracy.
Turner was instead of Tracy.
Yep.
Huh.
I almost wish we would have done Tracy. We could. I mean, they had that part of the Delta closed because of the high waters and the current, but I love Tracy.
Trying to think where we did awards. Oh, I remember now. Okay, now I remember because we did on the levee. That's what we ended up doing it. Okay. So you kicked our rear at Turner too. I remember you saying, I think we actually got you interviewed for this. We got interviewed for that one, and you said you were throwing the little popper, and you were getting back in the skinny water. You actually having to bust out your paddle.
Yep, that was a Yellow Magic popper. It sure was up in real shallow water.
Mm-hmm. You said like less than 18 inches. You said something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can see the backs waking across to the bait. Every fish I caught, you could see its back waking across.
Just chase it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And that was pretty much your primary thing was the popper, wasn't it?
That was, I think it was the only thing I caught a fish on that day.
I've heard a lot. I've actually heard the popper a lot, talked about a lot this year from a lot of different people. I hear at the shop too, guys coming in asking for poppers. A lot of guys are looking for like the Magnum, the Rebel, and we don't have any. We ran out, but that one, and then what was the other one? Surprised somebody's asking for the Pop Max. I think they make I think Mega Bass makes another one that few guys keep asking for too, but I can't remember what it's called. And
that Yellow Magic comes in 2 different sizes, and I use the Magnum version of that one.
Yeah, the they always want the Magnum. It's just a little bit big, especially fishing on the Delta. I mean, that little weenie one is just like what is that, 2 inches versus like a 3-inch bait.
Well, to me, I walk the dog with the bait more than I pop it. So the longer bait is easier to walk. Mm-hmm. So like a chug bug, when I was in Louisiana, when I was living down there, the chug bug was the one everybody threw for a popper, and that's why, is because you could actually walk the dog with it.
Right. Oh, what was that? What's that one that River to Sea makes? The bubble walker.
Bubble walker, yeah.
I think they discontinued that bad boy. I happened to get my hands on one from one of my coworkers, and I'm most definitely going to be throwing that probably more next year. I didn't throw it hardly at all this year, but.
Or if you want to pack it, you take 2 chug bugs, you take the rear hook off one, and put the split ring to the eye of the second one, and you work 2 of them at a time.
Oh, like kind of what like Adam calls the donkey rig.
Yep. That was something that we used to do in Louisiana quite a bit, was throwing the double chug bugs.
That's actually pretty cool. Let me see. Oh, so we got you for Turner. We got you for Paradise. Oh, and Clear Lake. We didn't get you credit on Clear Lake. So how did you kick our rears there?
Clear Lake.
I mean, I've already kind of heard the story, but anyways.
Yeah. Clear Lake, my home waters. That's where I spend most of my time. It's Amanda's favorite place to fish. My dad, when he comes out, that's his favorite place to fish. So I spend a lot of time up there. So it's like you were saying earlier with confidence. I have a lot of confidence in certain areas. The bite going into that tournament was wide open. You could catch 100 fish a day, but they were all dinks. The trick to that one was getting bigger fish, and I was not sure that I was going to be able to do that. So we got out there that morning. We headed straight to one of my favorite places to fish.
I know where it is because I followed you. No, I was going there anyways, but yeah.
Thing, probably 50-yard bank back and forth. We'd swap ends, going back and forth, throwing different things from daylight until about 12:30. I think that's when Abel came upon us, and I left when Abel got there. But even at that, we started off. We were catching fish the whole time. Right off the bat, we had some keepers, but nothing big. I had been hitting this same spot. I pulled 2 9-pounders from there. I took Justin Jr., and I think he caught one of his personal bests right there. I know Justin Sr. caught a big fish over there. So it's just a spot that has always produced big fish.
I know it's a really common community hole, so I mean, it's not like nothing. It's nothing. It really wouldn't be hard to figure out. I mean,
yeah. But I hit the same spot with the same exact cast probably 30 times, and then I stuck a giant. That one came on. Let's see. The first one I stuck came on the shock blade. Hammered it, rip drag, shot for deep water. Didn't feel like a catfish. I mean, up there you never know. I mean, I catch a lot of big catfish up there while I'm bass fishing. But that fish definitely felt like a bass. I had it on for a few seconds, broke my line. So that was a heartbreaker in a tournament where I was expecting to maybe get one good bite. So just kept hitting that spot, and probably 20 minutes later, I picked up a LV 500, Lucky Craft LV lipless. That was in a red crawl pattern. Threw it out there. I was basically yo-yoing it down, dropping into deeper water, dropping off into like 22 feet. And as I dropped down, I was throwing the 705 Dobbins CB. And as I let that thing sink down, it ticked like it hit a stump. And I just kind of pulled to the side with that rod. I just bought it, so I wasn't used to it, really in tune with that rod. I just kind of pulled to the side to see if it was a rock, and when I did, it took off running. So at that point, I laid into it, knew I had a good fish. Short fight, got it to the boat pretty quick, and it ended up being 9 pounds, 10 ounces. It's probably my biggest fish this year so far.
That's a stud. What a stud.
Yep, but it was awesome to catch it, and not only in the Yakka tournament, but that was the same day we were also fishing our KBF Clear Lake Trail event. So to have a 9-10 in the bag, right there in the first hour or so of the tournament, I was pretty stoked. Couldn't find a whole lot after that. I mean, I had a bunch of 16-inch fish, 16 or 17 maybe. So that big one is definitely what pushed me over on that limit to give me the win there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing Amanda kind of come up to you. I'm pretty sure she did at that time. I I was over on that other spot, working the bank, and I was like, looks like it's got something going on over there. It's like was needing a little assistance, so.
Yeah, it was awesome having her there because we were able to get some good pictures. She got a video of the release, so that was pretty amazing to have my wife there with me.
Yeah, man. I know between those two spots is a pretty good spot in the wintertime.
Yep.
So I think I'm making a trip out there in November. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't bother right now because the bite is horrible.
Yeah, November should turn around. I was talking to my coworker when he's assistant manager. He's one of the guys who actually helped start tactical bassin. Very few little guys know that, and he probably doesn't want me telling everybody, but he's one of the guys that helped start tactical bassin. And if you go all the way down to the bottom and you watch like the first one they talk about tactical bassin, he's the guy sitting next to Matt Allen. Anyway, so he was telling me that one of his favorite times to go down to Clear Lake is in November for the night bite just turns on. He said it turns on absolute fire.
Well, I mean, there's a huge shad population up there right now. Big bait balls are still moving around. And as you said before, we're in the fall transition. Once those fish turn on to that fall shad bite, it's unreal. I mean, it's a great time to go catch some big fish around all the shad.
Yeah.
It hasn't started yet, though.
No. I'm looking forward to it, though. What was that? Oh, you're saying that the 705, the Dobbins 705. Which line is that? Is that the Champion XP or is that the Fury?
Fury. Mm-hmm. That's their Fury line. What are they? $119 or something like that?
No, they're 110, dude. 109.99. Yeah.
That's a fantastic deal for that rod.
Yeah. I realize I got another company logo on my screen here, but it's really hard to beat those Dobbins rods for the $100. It's a great entry line. I tell people all the time when they come in the store, if you're looking for a good starter rod, it doesn't necessarily be the best. Dobbins, the Fury line is really hard to beat. We got their Colt series too. I'm not a super big fan of those, the Colt series, but don't get me wrong. If somebody comes in and they say they can't pull the trigger on a Fury, I definitely would set them up with a Colt. But yeah.
I've got a bunch of the Dobbins. I throw their Champion XPs in the swim bait line. I got the 807, the 795, and the 806 out there. Mm-hmm. I've got some of their Savvy series, which they no longer make. I've got a couple flipping sticks in those.
Yeah, now it's the Sierra line.
The Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those Fury, they're a great bang for the buck. There's probably 4 or 5 of them out there.
Yeah, another thing is too for guys on a budget. As far as reaction bait rods, you really don't necessarily need to spend a whole hell of a lot of coin because when you're throwing a reaction bait and they eat it. Your rod's already loaded up most of the time, so when they hit it, it just loads up even more. So you don't need to spend $400 on a rod for throwing a crankbait. It's just you're throwing money out the window.
Well, and even for those the shock blades, the chatterbaits, and vibrating jigs, I went to the Guru reaction rod that he makes, and it's a glass rod. And I talked about that on your last show and the difference that it made to me in fishing those types of lures. I will never throw a shock blade on a graphite rod again. It will always be on a glass rod, crankbait style rod.
Mm-hmm. The CB is a composite. I think it's a So it's. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing my bladed jigs on the 7. Oh shoot! What is it? Where is it? Speaking of which, I've actually got a Picasso shock blade tied on. Look at this. Ooh, look at that. It's a 7'2" heavy action crankbait rod, and it's considered a heavy action, but that it's got plenty of backbone, and it's a great rod. I've actually been using it all year. If you're using it throwing square bills, I've been using it for down there, any reaction. Only thing I really don't like it for is throwing a spinnerbait. I don't know. I feel like it's just a little too limber, but it's a great rod.
I like a medium heavy.
Mm-hmm.
A medium heavy fast for a spinnerbait rod.
But yeah. So we've got the Oh my goodness, man. I think Shane Williams got on here and fired everybody up. We've got a group of us staying in a house for national championship, and there's a conversation going on, and he's the center of a lot of it.
I can take that one. I'm ready for the national championship again.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be a blast. Still got a lot of coordinating to go, but I believe we've already got our house reserved, so it's a relatively large house. We're going to have like 6 guys, I believe, coming, all packing in, stupid fly, packing into a big passenger van, and we're all going to load our kayaks onto a trailer. We're going to go. So pray to heavens that the van doesn't break down or something. I probably shouldn't have even said that, but then you got 6 guys that are going to be stranded. So, anyways,
I'll honk it. Bye. She might be on driving duty for that one.
Well, we can always throw all your stuff onto the trailer and all the stuff onto the trailer, and then we just pack in your a few of us packing your extended cab. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're going back to for the 100 or whatever, huh?
Amanda and I are leaving for Toledo Bend on the I don't even know, 28th, I think. I'm sure she'll chime in. She's probably watching upstairs. Yeah, and 28th, and we'll get there on the 30th, so I'll have a good 4 days of pre-fishing on Toledo Bend.
Next year, when we've got more KBF events going on out here and more opportunities, I would venture to guess that you cut where you are in half at least. I bet you're at 50% higher than what you are now. You know what I mean?
I think I'm 36 or something like that. 36, 30.
My guess, you're going to be top 20 next year. That'd be my guess. I mean, I'm not trying to make your head any bigger, but I would venture to guess. Based on
the problem out here is, so California's jumped in the bandwagon pretty good with KBF, and we're getting some trail events. I know there's supposed to be more next year, and that's fantastic. But the amount of events that we could have on the West Coast versus what they do have on the East Coast, I just don't think it's there. You got guys who live in Mississippi who are able to hit 8-9 trail events in a year, and we just don't have that availability out here.
No, we've got a handful of places that could hold a substantial size event. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and a lot of them too. The few places, in a place that we have, they don't have a lot of launch ramps where we could spread each other out. So the open launch isn't necessarily a viable option. Like Comanche, they have 2. They have a north and a south. But really, in reality, you could launch at either one of them and still get the same damn places because they're not that far apart. They're literally, the lake is more wide than it is tall, I guess. And the north and south are less than a half a mile or a mile apart from each other. So it's not that big of a difference. Somewhere like maybe Don Pedro, I think might be a good place because it is a really large lake, but it has 3 different launch ramps, which could totally be doable. And if you could publicly access the water, there are a couple different spots where you can actually cart yourself down if you wanted to.
Well, the other issue is the fact that we just don't have many kayak clubs in California.
No, that's true. But
you need a club to host them.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, because of the way it is, I don't think it wouldn't be all that wise to have a whole bunch of different kayak clubs. You know what I mean? For the most part, our bass fishing is in a centralized location, which is pretty much where we are. Anything north or south of that, it thins out drastically. Right. Fresno is probably maybe the only exception to that, but even then, they're still close enough that they can be part of us. And if you go up like towards the only other thing is like Redding and like Whiskey Town and those lakes way up there, but they're the following for as far as the bass scene anyways isn't as big as it could be. I imagine it will be eventually, but it isn't there right yet.
Right.
But with the Shasta Bass Kite Classic next year, I imagine that that might help inspire quite a few more because I believe last year they actually it was on the news up there. They did a whole segment on it, so I'm hoping we can bust 100 anglers this year, which would be phenomenal. And
I'm looking to be there.
Huh?
I'm looking to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, dude. We had a lot of fun. I mean, the fishing was fishing, but it's completely different because it's a 2-day event versus our single day event. So we're all basically standing around and BSing. Everybody's chilling and eating dinner and having a few beers, and it's just a cool time. It's the camaraderie level is way higher because we're all having to hang out a little bit more. So
the scheduling conflict. It was held the weekend prior to the national championship. So Amanda and I were already on the road headed to Tennessee when the tournament was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But this year they've actually bumped it back a weekend, so I'll get to fish the Shasta Bass Classic, and then the following weekend we'll leave for the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be nice getting that shot. I'd love to compete for a shot at Hobie Worlds.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be in March again, so imagine it's going to be a lot more finesse, which is, I know it's not your forte. I know you can do it, but it's not your forte. You will admit that, right?
Yep.
It is not your forte, but you can do it.
You don't have to finesse fish for spotted bass.
Not always, but it was definitely. I'm pretty sure. Well, last year was one on the Ned rig. I mean,
they eat swim baits, they eat football jigs, they eat umbrella rigs. You can catch tanks.
Yeah, I think I had like 2 bumps on a jig when we were there. Anyways, I got to go through the peanut gallery here. We're running into we're running over an hour. So, okay, so let me go through the peanut gallery, see if they got anything good to say. I apologize if I missed something of quality. Let's see. There's so much banter. Like, it's so hard to like determine between banter and like questions or comments or. Let's see. Yeah, I like our community so much fun. Let's see. Jason Yetnitsky. He says, "Be safe in Sonoma County."
Yeah, he's from here. He's back in Tennessee or Kentucky now, but he's from here originally.
Let's see what else we got. Sound like there's a dog getting squished or something outside. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let's see. Oh my God, the comments! I swear. All right, you know what? The hell with this. I'll go through and read these later. Matt, if you would maybe go through. If you got a go back through and maybe see if if you guys have a comment or anything, I'm only going to read these last few because there's way more than I anticipated. Let's see. Byron comments. How do I say your last name, Byron? I'm so sorry, man.
Kennerly.
Huh? Kennerly? Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy that's got the big Titan with the double power poles.
Yeah.
He's got the beast rig. He says comments on slack tide.
I hate it. Bide your time and finesse fish until the current starts running again.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, man. The current determines where the fish position themselves and it gets everything moving. When the current moves, the fish have to move. They can't stay there, otherwise they get swept away. So it's tough for everybody. But I think my 2 cents, about the only time the slack tide is any good is when it's the low tide and it's summer and you're throwing a frog.
Yep. I was going to say throw a frog or a big swim bait and hope for something to happen.
Yep.
Until going again.
Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a Delta expert. As I can hold my own. But this year has definitely not been my year. But yeah, that's what most people are going to tell you is throw a frog and hopefully it's low tide, not high tide. High switch. Once it switches on high tide, that's actually the most popular time to catch fish is the high switch.
Definitely.
Because the water's high and they've got all the cover, so they can go way in the back of something. And then when it switches, it starts drawing out. So now those fish have to get out of that skinny water that they've put themselves into, which causes them to move. And on the move, it causes them to feed.
Yep.
So, high switch. Let's see. Joshua Evans says we eat bass out her. Yeah. A lot of people eat bass. A lot of guys eat bass out here too. I don't recommend it though because the mercury content in our bass out here is very high, very, very, very high, and it's not good for women to eat it because of it can cause reproductive issues, especially in younger adolescents, adolescent girls growing pubescent. I guess adolescent pubescent girls, whatever, same difference. Let's see. Yeah. $20 says $20 says that after we end, the conversation's going to go on for a little while.
Well, I'll get there and answer some questions if you want.
Yeah.
We had a long night last night. I worked all night.
I see. What is going on? Why is it saying? It's saying I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, which I doubt. Because it's only 8 o'clock here, and we went on after 8 or after 7. Let's see. Oh, Ryan Montoya's got a good question. Bass fishing in cold water. What's your favorite bait?
So it used to be a worm. I would say it's going to be a football jig now. Football jig, crankbait, deep dive crankbait.
Okay, I'm gonna say two. There's two. I love fishing for spotted bass. Spotted bass is how I cut my teeth. That's how I learn. Fishing on a lake over here called McClure. It fishes pretty similar to Comanche, except for Comanche's a lot more of a lot flatter, whereas McClure is a lot more of a kind of a canyon style reservoir. If you want to just get bit, you just want to catch a fish, you can't beat a drop shot. But if you want to catch quality fish, throw a jig. You throw a football jig, 3/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce. Usually a 3/4, a little bit more, because in the colder water, if they're not suspending, they're hunkered on the bottom. That 3/4 ounce will kick up a lot more soot and silt, and brown and purple, man. That is the color for here in NorCal, brown and purple. What else we got here? Abel's saying West Coast for East Coast side pot. Matthew's like, sure.
What are we doing? Big fish? Or are we doing biggest stringer?
Biggest stringer, biggest fish. I kind of like the biggest fish because that kind of is more of an anybody's game. Granted, you have to be on them to even catch a big fish, but still.
And do I count as West Coast because I live here? Do I count as East Coast because I'm from the East Coast?
Yeah, true. I mean, you still call
South Carolina's home.
That's home. This is where you reside. This is where you live. For now, anyways. How much longer before you call this home? Or you call this home-ish?
A long time, I hope.
Home-ish?
I would love to stay here. I have no interest in moving, and I know Amanda loves it out here. I would stay here if I can.
Adam Kuhn says live minnows are best in cold water. I am not going to disagree there. Hey, speaking of live minnows, we sell jumbos. So if you know somebody that's wanting to go catch some striper, but we actually carry jumbos. Granted, they're
I'm not talking stripers. Adam's talking about big spotted bass.
Yeah, that too though.
He caught what was probably the world record. I think 2 years ago. I'm sure he'll correct me on that, but I think it was 2 years ago. He caught what would have been the world record had he waded in. On a minute.
Doesn't surprise me, man. Those big old minnows, they catch fish. You don't set the hook. I've learned this hard way. You don't set the hook the same when you're throwing up a minnow that you do as you do throwing a jig or something, because you just rip it right out of their mouth. Yep. And then you have no minnow. You just have a hook. So just kind of load the rod. Anyways. Abel says you're West Coast. I guess it's kind of the thing. I mean, you may be from the East Coast, but you earn your spot via the West Coast, so you technically.
Right now, I get corrected on it from friends at home. They want to know what my Tourney X profile shows California as my resident state.
Yeah. Well, if I would say if more than 50% of your tournament wins are here, at least far as, that current year, you would have to say. Yeah. Let's see. Nick Smith says striper bite is on. I agree. The striper bite is on. The striper bite is on everywhere. And if you are interested in fishing for, I realize we're Kayak Bass Live, not Kayak multi-species Bass Live or whatever you want to call it. But salmon, the salmon are running too, guys, and the salmon bite is kicking. It's kicking up. I wouldn't say it's on fire, but it's not too far off. Granted, when I go in tomorrow for work, I guess anything could change over the weekend. It could be technically on fire now, but the salmon bite is heating up. And we've got it. We've got what you need at Fisher's Warehouse. We've got all the cut plugs and Silvertrons you could ever wish for. Granted, we're out of the chartreuse, damn near out of chartreuse almost every time. Every time people come in and ask for them, but believe me, we get. I think we've been getting a shipment of Silvertrons damn near twice a week, and we're still selling out of them. So it tells you everybody wants Silvertrons. Let's see. Yes. Byron, he asked, what about a spy bait?
You got to talk to Ernie Williams on that one.
Same here, man. I have yet to throw one. I have not even had one tied on yet.
I own several of them, and one of these days I'm going to run into Ernie again, and he's going to buy them all from me because I've had them boxed up for him.
Swap meet at Sugar, man. I still got to go through all my crap. We just cleaned out my garage. All my stuff is piled over here. I have to go through it, so I'm gonna go through them and try to get some stuff for the swap meet. So if you guys are wanting to do the swap meet, I believe it's on. I probably don't have a whole lot of stuff worth a hoot, but from the last year, if you bring soft plastics, nobody really wants them. Guys want hard baits, and if you got like rods and reels, that's pretty much it. Everybody's got thousands and thousands of soft plastics. We should almost do like a soft plastics like a donation, like so we can find a local kid club or something to donate them to that we don't want anymore.
I've been melting them down and reporting them.
Oh yeah, I forget you've been making that crazy looking little creature bait thing. You've been catching fish on that bad boy still?
Creature bait. I got a flipping crawl and I got a frog that I've been holding.
Mm-hmm. Not one of those big old huge ones like that. Who makes that big old huge thing? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Byron says it's a good lure for slow bite. Caught some nice bass. Let's see. All right, you guys have anything good? Fire away, because I'm about ready to shut this down. We've been going about an hour. I don't want to keep Matthew up too long because I imagine he has to work or go help. He's going to go maybe volunteer again tomorrow. He did volunteer today, so hey, thanks for doing that, man. Appreciate it. My wife was asking me if she should go to Santa Rosa. I said, if you want to.
It's pretty wild. I got a buddy at work whose wife's a delivery nurse, and they had to evacuate the hospital she works at. I think Kaiser's where they took them to, and they were recalling nurses that weren't even nurses from Kaiser to go work.
Yeah, because they sent out a mass email or whatever to my wife, everybody at all the other nurses and stuff at the hospital staff, seeing if anybody would go over there. She's working tonight, so I guess it's still on the table if she decides she wants to do it. So
yeah, the fires are still burning. They're spreading right now. Amanda came home and said that there was new ones that had popped up, and they are by far, this is not over.
It's every fall. It's the fall when it happens. We start to get the moisture in the air, and then we start getting thunderstorms, and then boom, the whole horizon lights up on the East Coast. Damn. Anyways, anything else? Anything you want to throw in there? Anybody want to thank Mr. Matthew Brannon?
Sure, definitely my sponsors, Hobie Fishing, Lou's Reels, Vicious Fishing, Habo Outdoors, who else we got? Picasso Lures, which has been my staple for the last couple of years as far as regardless of whether it's a sponsor or not, that's who I've been throwing and catching a lot of fish, whether it's their swim jigs or shock blades. Tourney X, Dwayne Wally's put together a team of anglers, and he was gracious enough to put myself and Amanda both on the team, so Tourney X is on there as well.
Right on. Oh, little tidbit, little nugget of information. For those of you who are wanting to take this to the next level and really do want to pursue sponsors, create a resume, create a proposal, create a cover letter, and do it now. Now is when actually most companies are are arranging their budget for the beginning of next year and all of next year. So if you are interested in becoming a sponsored angler, do it now. And the sooner you do it, the better. Before their budgets are completely set in stone. It may actually be almost on the tail end of that. So if that really is something you want to do, throw one together, start sending them out. And not only do you want guys are going to brag and say I'm going to wear your logo and this, that, and the other. It's more you need to present to them what you're going to do for them to help them sell product. If you can't help them sell product, they are not going to pick you up. You have to be able to you have to tell them how you're going to help them sell product and how you're going to help them grow.
It's promotional staff, not professional.
Yep.
So it's about what you can do to promote the brand, promote the companies, and promote the products.
For them, it's all about selling product. They say, I was reading an article from somewhere. They say for every dollar that they give you, they'll then have to turn around and sell 3 items or products to be able to make up for that dollar, kind of thing.
You have obligations with every company, and it's different depending on what your agreement is. But there are obligations. It's not just throw a sticker on, wear a T-shirt, and you're done. You have social media obligations. You have trade shows, ISC type stuff, ICAST possibly. You have social media content with videos. Everybody knows the hashtag thing. So you definitely, seminars. There's obligations involved. So it's work. I mean, it's a job. Maintaining the sponsors and maintaining those contracts.
You're always gonna put forth more than they're gonna give you. And if it's the other way around, you're not gonna stick around for very long.
That is fact.
With that, thank you, Matthew, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for dealing with the chaos there from the beginning. And I apologize there wasn't a outline this time. Next week I'm going to have an outline. I'll go through and check up on tournament results for events and upcoming events, and we will roll with it like we normally do. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, don't hesitate to or suggestions even on how I can improve this. I'm all ears. It's all about giving back to you guys and helping make this grow and reaching more people and spreading the love of kayak bass fishing and kayak bass live. With that, again, thank you, Matthew, and thank you to Amanda for letting us steal him for an hour and 10 minutes, and maybe probably a little longer with the setup. But again, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Oh, hold on. Love, peace, and chicken grease.